We're now on activity 2. So we need to do a new activity. We don't want to write over our code. So let's go ahead and click our little paper file here. And let's just get new. It's going to show up. It's going to be untitled and things like that. You ready? Introduce yourself. So this is me when I had my hair all one color. Now it's 2 of those colors or a bunch of colors because I'm letting it grow out. And that's my child. So let's take a look at what this is. I'm going to open up this a little bit bigger and we'll go over what the goals and the project is going to be. All right. So we're going to learn some new code blocks. We're going to explore some different types of programming tasks, and we're going to make an interactive narrative. That's a program that's going to introduce concepts that users can interact with, right? They did say my husband's name was Chris, and I'm like, no, I got an Anthony, not a Chris, but that's okay. So we're going to kind of go through and we're going to work on this. All right, and this is what it does. So the computer's talking and then it's asking you questions and then it's giving you answers to things and it's interacting with a student or with whoever's playing it. All right, got the demo. We've watched the demo. And let's go on and take a look at what the next slide is going to be. All right, so open the project and sign into Snap. Open the introduce yourself starter code. I'm going to drop this in the chat so you don't have to worry about going to find it. Wrong window. I just messed up all of my windows, y'all. I'm okay. I'm glad I don't have 3 screens. If I had 3 screens, I'd be doing some crazy stuff. Okay. All right, so we're back here. And let me grab this copy the link address. This is the starter code for the second project. Don't worry, you can't break this. Starter code. All right, and make sure you are signed into Snap. It's okay. It'll do its thing. So I'm gonna click on my starter code. It's gonna set it up there. I'm gonna drag it over here. And I have the starter code and it opens up like this. And it wants me to interact with it. So I'm going to go ahead and interact with it. So go ahead and interact with the code and watch what it does. Looks like I have braces. My teeth are gray. She doesn't live in NC anymore. She's moving to Seoul, Korea in July.
Did you just say your daughter's moving to Seoul?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my daughter lived there for a year and a half. Now she's in Busan.
Aw. Well, we'll have to meet up when we go. We'll have to take that 36-hour flight together. Her husband's in the State Department and he got assigned to Seoul. So it looks like there's some broken stuff going on in here. We're going to go open up this code. To open up the code, you click these double arrows. I'm excited for her. they're gonna have a wonderful time. And when you open up the code, you'll notice there's a lot of code that's highlighted here. So these things are kind of running. And you'll also notice that we have a greet user block. That looks like it's a custom block. Guessing game, custom block. Say kid's age, that looks like a custom block. Let's take a look at what's in Katie's. We're gonna just kind of look around. What I want you to do is click through the sprites and see what code is in the different sprites. So let's go ahead and kind of investigate what we have here. When we open up the code, I just want to see what we have, what we're going to be working with. This is Katie. This is a worked example. Click on each of the blocks to see what they do. Okay. And then we have this Chris. This is a Parsons problem. You're going to put the blocks together and blow in the correct place. I'm going to have y'all guide me on how to do that. All right, and so these are comments that you can make. So when you're working with your students, if you wanted to have a project that you're working with them on a certain concept, you can create some code for them and you can put the comments in and have them go do some activity stuff. Parsons problems is one of them, buggy code is another, and this gets them really thinking about the code and kind of understanding how it works. Okay. How are we doing? Is everybody okay? Felicia, are you okay?
Yes, I'm good. I'm sorry. I was playing the game and I couldn't get to past how long you've been teaching. So
Right.
yeah, I was like,
It's
well, dang, I know
broken.
she ain't been teaching for 88 years.
It's broken. So we
Yeah.
have some buggy code in this, and we played the game a little bit, and we know there's something wrong with it because it didn't do what the demo did, right? So yeah. Um, 88 years? No, I think 8 years was how long I've been actually coding. So there's some Marnie stuff, and inside our blocks, we can take a look. There's some code in here. We can go check out these games, things, and we can look inside. And remember, you right click and you can click edit and you can get inside these blocks. Here's our buggy code. Here's some buggy code going on here. Okay. And oh no, we got math. Got some math. And let's see if the stage has any code. The stage doesn't have any code. It just has some custom, some comments in it. So this is just information right now. You can code the stage, but there's not a lot of, like you can't code the stage in motion, right? There's some looks you can do. There's some sound and pin. So there are some things, but you're not going to have all of the blocks, okay? Also, if you notice, when I click on Katie, there's not a lot of blocks here, right? It's not all of the motion blocks. And the reason is because as a teacher, maybe I just want them to take a look at a certain amount of blocks and I don't want to overwhelm them. So I can hide some blocks from them. Okay. Chris, we got the same thing with Chris. Definitely not all the blocks. Okay, definitely not all the blocks. All right. So you can go in, you can create these, you can hide code from them, you can just keep certain blocks for the students if you want to have fewer things for them to be looking at. Some students may be overwhelmed by the amount of blocks in the beginning, and so you can kind of just do some little differentiation tricks with them and give them something to allow them to be a little bit more focused. Okay. And we can go over how to do that when we get into the project and as we're thinking more and more about how we will teach a student. But right now we're experiencing it as a student ourselves. So let's go ahead and get over here. Come on, shift. All right. Make sure you're signed into your account. Let's get into this. So we're going to save our code because this was a file and we want to save it and we want to work in it, we're going to save our code to our cloud. So I'm going to click on the file and I'm going to click Save As. Introduce yourself, begin. And I'm going to just put ExCITE 2025 so I don't lose it. You all don't have to do that. Can somebody tell me how I share it?
You click on the file document thing, and then you go down to save as,
Okay.
and
then I
then
go,
you find it in the list and click on it, because even though it's highlighted, it's not gonna work.
hey, right.
You gotta click on it, and
Yeah.
then you click share.
Perfect. There we go. So now it's mine. I've saved it. Okay. And I can check that. Let me go check and make sure. Yep, it's mine now. We're good. All right. So what we're going to do now is we've got that. We've saved it. I went ahead and done the share already because I almost always will be sharing my code. So I've already done that. Now we're going to do our navigation. If you're working in a face-to-face class or you've got your students set up online to be able to work as pair partners, then you can go into the driver and navigator. The students will resist this pair programming at first, and then they'll really get into it. All right. So we're going to explore the starter code. We did that. Click this Katie sprite to begin. So let's go to our Katie sprite. And we don't need to see what they're doing here. We've got it. Click this Katie sprite and Katie. So when clicked, we're going to hide Katie. So when the green flag is clicked, Katie's not there. When I receive Katie up here, Katie's going to come to this location on my stage, and then she's going to show up. And then when I receive Katie disappear, she's going to glide and move away. She's going to get off the screen. Okay. And then I'm going to hide her. So go ahead and click those blocks and see what they do. Click these blocks. You don't have to always click the green flag. You can come over here and you can click the blocks. Oh, my goodness. There she is. So here she's hidden. Here she shows up. Here she glides and disappears. Boom. Okay. So, an event code is code that runs when something else triggers it. So like clicking the green flag. And we have a couple of different event codes in here. So we have two different event codes going on in here. What are the two event codes that you see? Actually, there's three, but there's two blocks that we're using.
Is it hide, show, and then hide again? I mean, when you click on it, when you click on the green, and then when you receive, and then
Yeah.
when you receive Katie, and then the first one was Katie appear, and then Katie disappear.
Yeah, those are your event codes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're breaking down the actions that she's doing, and we've got them kind of broken apart. And so we can code each one of those pieces a little bit differently, and we can code those pieces, make sure they work. So we'll code, test it. Does it work? Yes. Now I can move on to my next thing and code and test. And if it works, we can move on to the next thing. Okay. And that's why we would use some decomposition. We want to break it down. We don't want to have to have all of it together. Okay, now we're going to complete the Chris code. Click on Chris, Sprite, to look at his code. His information looks pretty similar. So the blocks we need to compete. So his code should look similar to Katie. So he should have a green flag, a Chris appear, and a Chris disappear, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at Chris. And he has all those things. And so when the green flag is clicked, we're going to hide Chris. Now this is a Parsons problem, and with a Parsons problem, we are given the code. We're given the code pieces that we're going to be working with. So we're going to put the blocks in the correct place. So y'all tell me where to put these blocks. Where do I put this first block? Which event? Yep, go ahead.
I'm not sure, but would the first one be show? When clicked on the green flag, he needs to, well, I mean, Chris needs to appear.
So when the
Would it
green
be
flag is
hide?
clicked, the program starts running, right? So let's think through the process. So the program starts running, and the first part of the program, we only want to see Marnie. So when the green flag is clicked, we'll want to hide everybody else. Okay? So that's where we're going to go with that. But that's a good, I mean, that would be, we wanted to see Chris, all right? So now in the next block, and we can think about looking at Katie's code. So because we have a Parsons problem and Katie's code is kind of similar, let's go take a look at Katie's code. All right, you can see that. Let's come back to Chris. All right, so now that I've looked at Katie's code and I want Chris to appear, we're gonna do, I've got Reggie's telling me I need to do the go to. Okay, so this is gonna go to 0 and -50. If I'm doing the XY axis, X is at 0, and then it's gonna come down a little bit lower than where Marnie's at right now. Okay, and then what do I do? When I receive Chris,
Show.
okay, yeah, this is where the show is going to be because now we wanted Chris to show up. Okay, so we know Chris is already hidden, so we couldn't really test that code, but let's go ahead and test our code to see if it works. There he is. Okay, so there's Chris. Let me clear. Can I clear? Ah. Oh, it's all hidden from me. Okay, never mind. I can't clear. I can't clear. We're good. I was going to try to get rid of this, but that's fine. Okay. Stop. Okay. Well, the speaker bar is going to go. It's running. Let me stop this. There we go. Nope. Stop. Pause. Stop. There we are. Okay, so now we have Chris appear. And Chris has appeared. And now we want Chris to do the same kind of thing that Katie's doing. And so what are we going to do now? So this comment says, when I receive event Chris, disappear and glide. Disappear. When I receive event Chris disappear, so this is my event Chris disappear. We're going to glide to this and we're going to hide him. Okay, so we're going to come over here. And then we're going to click hide. And then what do I want to do now? I want to test my code, right? Okay. Got it working? Got this, we're hidden, we're showing. If I were to click this, Chris would go away. And then I click this, Chris shows up. And then I click this, and we're gliding, and we're hiding. Let's make sure that it's doing the same thing for Katie's code. So there's Katie. She'll hide them when the green flag is clicked. She'll show up when this is done. And she'll do the same thing. Okay. They're a little different, right? Not too much. All right, so we've done our Parsons problem. and we've done that. We've read through the code. We're kind of looking at it and we're reading it and we're trying to understand what the code is doing. And so this one's going to be like focusing on the pattern. Do you recognize pattern between Chris's blocks and Katie's blocks? And honestly, we could have copied these blocks over from Katie to Chris. And I will show you how to do that. I'm going to go to Katie and I'm going to take this block right here and I'm going to copy it over to Chris. And we're going to know it's Katie's block because it's going to say Katie up here. So if I take this, I click on it, just regular click, and I drag it over and Chris kind of highlights a little. Okay. And then I go click on Chris. We're going to see Katie appear right here. And so if I didn't want to figure out all this code, I could just copy this over and I could look at Chris appear and I could do that. So you don't have to keep, you don't have to rewrite all the code. If it's the same code, you can kind of copy it over to another sprite and use that code, but make sure that you're calling the right things. Because if I put the Katie appeared, then Katie would appear and it wouldn't be Chris. And then it'd be kind of silly. So we've got those things. We've got the pattern recognition there, right? We're thinking about our computational thinking ideas. Got to save our code. And with this, I just need to save it. It's already shared, so I just need to save it. Okay, so let's look at another example, and this is from my sprite. So let's go on to my sprite. And we're going to click on the green flag icon to run the when flag clicked code. Type your name when asked, and then click the yellow pause button when she asks to press the up arrow. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to come here and we're going to click on the green flag. Okay, and so it says type your name in. So I'm gonna can't spell my name today. There we are. All right, and I can press enter, and then it says press the space bar to continue. Well, that's not what the directions said, right? Okay. Hang on. Type in your name, click the when she asks you to press the up arrow. Okay, well, I'm going to press the space bar. Okay. Press the up arrow. So we're going to pause at press the up arrow. Okay. So we've been interacting with the computer. It's been talking. We've been able to do some input. Input is a part of the AP requirements. It has to have input and output. We've got input and output going on here. All right. So let's see what the code looks like to greet the user. So you're going to click on the sprite and we're going to take a look at greet the user. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's right click and edit. Okay. And we can read through the code. And this is kind of nice. This is almost like pseudocode, isn't it? You can read through it, tells you the instructions. So we're getting down to this say block at the that has the join in it. What do you think that block is doing? This block right here. This
It's
block
taking
right here.
it's taking the user input and it's going to say hi, whatever the input was. It's nice to meet you.
Okay, great. Perfect. All right. So we've got that. All right. So that kind of is what we looked at and we saw that work. So we're good there. Oh, and this is our abstraction. So notice how greet the user script is grouped and abstracted away into the custom block with a meaningful name. Greet the user. And here's my apply. I don't know why the other one doesn't have the apply. I think they have a new version coming out. Just so you know, do things. All right, so we're good with that. Now let's go look at the talk about family block. So let's go down to the talk about family block. It's right here. Right click on it, edit. Okay, it wants us to break this down into the two sections. All right, so the two sections that it wants us to talk about are this first one, and then it wants us to talk about the block. So to get this section going, we have to do what? To make this part of the program work, what do we have to do? And I'm looking at the first part of the block. So I'm looking at here. How do we get this code to start without being in the script area and clicking on it?
With the space bar.
Yes, the space bar. Yes, yes, definitely. Okay, so we've got to click on the space bar. Then we're going to switch a costume. And that costume is Marnie walking. Our costumes live. We've got scripts, we've got costumes. Our costumes live right here. Got Marnie main, Marnie jump, Marnie walk. Okay, so we have those costumes. And this one is the Marnie walk costume. So there I am walking. And then we're going to do the glide seconds. And this is -150 and Y is -50. So this kind of brings me down to this corner down here in the screen. Okay. And then I got to talk about family. And I don't know what's in talk about family yet. And then it says, press the up arrow. She's telling me to press the up arrow. So that's leading me to do something. Okay. So let's look at the talk about family. What do we notice? What's happening in here? Starting to work in with my other sprites, right? When I broadcast Katie appear and wait, that's shouting out to the entire code saying, Katie appear, right? I'm looking for Katie to appear. And what's going to happen is I'm going to go to Katie. I'm not going to go to Katie because I have my block editor open. I'm going to go to Katie. And this is like when I receive Katie appear. So now this code's going to start. So let's go back to Marnie. Talk about the family. So that's what that broadcast does. All right, so do we have any questions about how this works? Is this straightforward? All right. So we've got the Katie up here. We're going to talk about Katie. Katie, then we're going to tell her to go away, and then we're going to talk about Chris, and we're going to make him appear, and then we're going to talk about him, and then we're going to make him go away. All right, so we've looked at that. Talk about family is another instance of abstraction. It's a custom block. All right, now in step 4, this is where we're having trouble playing the game, right? We're going to fix a bug in the guessing game. There's a bug in the guessing game. So we're going to come down to guessing game and we're going to click edit. Unpause the code by clicking the pause button again, and then try to guess how many years she's been teaching. You'll notice the logic in the feedback for your guess seems to be reversed, and we're going to fix this bug. So let's go in and fix the bug. Let's go in and fix the bug. I think I've restarted her too much, so she's not at the right place. But we're in the buggy code, and we're going to fix it. We've got our guessing game. And we have this repeat until. We have an operator in here. We have an answer we're collecting. Guess how long I've been teaching? The answer is if the answer is less than 7, no, that guess is too high. If that answer is greater than 7, no, that guess is too low. All right. So where do we see the problem with the code?
The
The age. Yeah, the number of
age.
years.
So right here?
Yes.
Okay. Now there's 2 ways to fix it. I could swap my answer and stuff like that, but the other way is to change these right here. And I can right click. I can right click on this block right here, and I can do a relabel. And I don't want this one, I want this one, right? So I can click on that and it'll change it for me. Okay. And then we got to do the same thing with the other one, right? Now we can go and like recreate this code. We can go to operators and pull this out and recreate it. Or we can right click and do a relabel. And I need to do the opposite of what it is. And then we can click apply. Okay, so now let's run it. So it says we got to run it on the up arrow. Yeah. Yeah, you can. So Felicia changed the say block, and that absolutely works 100%. Okay, and I love that you mentioned that because now we know that there are different ways to make the same thing happen. And your students are going to have different things going on in your code, and it can get complicated sometimes. I try to kind of go along with how their thought process is when I'm working with them instead of saying, no, it's got to look like this. You want them to be creative. You want it to look the way they're thinking through it. So let's go ahead and click the up arrow and see what happens. All right, so I'm going to say 6. Nope, that's too low. I'm going to say 10. Nope, that's too high. And then I'm going to go to 7. Oh my gosh. There was sound. I wasn't expecting the sound, even though I read that there was sound in there. Okay, so ta-da, yes, you guessed it. And so it works now, right? That's another way you can work with your students. Another way you can differentiate the code with your students is kind of making a bug and having to think through the process. And they're not having to put the code together. They're just having to read through and figure out where the logic is incorrect. Okay. All right. So we did that. We fixed the bug. Yay. And read the code, focus on the 2 blocks that have buggy code, and then we've got the changing this or changing the say blocks. Absolutely just right. Either one will work. And then it'll scare you. So we fixed it. And then somebody else, now here's another, different person did something different. They switched the answer and the number 7. Okay, so that's another way to do it. And all of those are okay. There's multiple solutions as long as it works. All right. So computational thinking, what computational thinking can you kind of identify in this code?
Computing the numbers of the number of years for
Okay.
teaching.
The number of years?
Hmm.
Okay. Anybody have anything else?
The say the kid's age.
Okay.
It has that where has it by days and whatever the number they put in is times the 365.
Okay. All right, so let's take a look. We've got our pattern recognition. Repetitively ask the user to guess the number. The guessing game is abstracted away. So we have quite a few computational thinking processes. We've got Prada all the way through. And then we've got the decomposition. So if the block decomposes the answers into different conditions and handles them accordingly. So we have our decomposition right here. And then we have our algorithm, which is a step-by-step instructions. So sometimes students get wrapped up in these two words, abstraction and algorithms. And so I'll talk about abstraction and what is abstraction multiple times, just getting them used to the word. And algorithm. It's like a list of tasks, a list of steps to create a task or to complete a task. And so kind of bringing those things into that common, easy to think about vocabulary is very helpful for them. So don't let them get wrapped up in these words. My kids would eventually start rolling their eyes when I would ask, because I asked so many times what it was. Now, that was a lot of computational thinking in one script. And in this script that we're looking at over here, we have some things. I'm going to go back into the number guessing game here. In this script that we're looking at, we've got a repeat until, so we have a loop. And we have some selection with these if statements. And we have an algorithm. The only thing we don't have is a list. So this particular part of this code is just missing the list, and that's something that's required for the AP exam. So already in the very beginning of learning SNAP, you're hitting 3 of the 4 requirements that are in the code that you have. Actually, you have your abstraction, you have your iteration, your selection, got the algorithm, the procedure is being called. This is called a procedure in AP language. This is our procedure. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, and we'll start getting you kind of used to the AP language and the BJC language, or the ExCITE language. Okay, the SNAP. Let's get on to our next one and save our code. We want to save it because we fixed it. So just come up here and click save. We don't have to go in and share anything. We already did that. Now, step 5, we're going to modify age in days. What if we wanted to, instead of saying age in days, say age in months? How do we do that? All right, so let's go ahead and get our code out. But we're going to be, we don't need to look at this anymore. We're doing, is there a custom block that handles, there's a custom block that says, say kid's age, guess what the name is of the custom block. Well, say kid's age. All right, so we're going to come in here and we're going to modify this. So you're going to find the say kid's age block. You're going to click on it and we're going to set the age in days. And we're going to make it so it's going to be in months, correct? How old are you multiplied by 365? All right, so let's go ahead and get that code open. This is our case, say here, and let's get that code open. And we have the answer times 365, and that's how many days they've been alive. We've got another little vocabulary word. We have a variable, and that's a block that stores a value for later use. Okay, so we do have a variable in here. It's called age and days. That's our variable, and it has been set to answer times 365. Okay, so let's go take a look at what we're supposed to do next. Modify the age in days, make the variable to age in months. So let's go figure this out. If we're doing age in months, no, okay, you go there, okay. If we're doing age in months, we're gonna come in here and we're gonna adjust this. This is age in days. We don't have age in months, so we need to go create a variable, okay? So let's go to our variables. We have two ways to create a variable. No, we don't. We just have, well, we could create a script variable, but we're not worried about that. So we're going to click make a variable. And you see we have an age in days, and we want to do age in months. So we're going to create this variable. And for those of you who have programmed before, we're not worried about it being public or private. This one's going to be for all sprites. And this will be age in months. Now notice when I make that variable, I have this that pops up here, age in months. If you don't want to see that, you uncheck this box. But as we're testing it, maybe we do want to see it. But she's going to say it, so we'll be okay. We don't have to worry about that. So you can unclick the age in months to take it off of the screen, or you can leave it up there. Okay, now I've got this right here is set days to age in days, but I want to now do age in months. I'm changing everything to age in months. Now, if I do my age in months exactly like my age in days, is that going to fix the problem? That's not going to complete the task, right? So my answer is 365 days. So how do we do months? What will we put here?
Change 365 to 12.
Okay. And then I have a problem here, and this is where variables are almost always where the error is. That errors pop up all the time with variables. This is not the variable I'm looking for. The variable I'm looking for is this one. Gonna be tricky. Tricky. I got it. All right. And I don't want to say days. I want to say months. Okay, and now I can click apply. And then let's go ahead and we can test it with the down arrow. So let's go ahead.
Can you do that grab again? I couldn't, when I got rid of age and days, I couldn't plug in. So yeah, when I moved it.
Okay, so you got to be careful with these. It's a little difficult sometimes to get them in there. So you can
Okay.
take your variable and you just got to wait until it gets over the block you're wanting to put it in.
How did you first get the age and months? Like I have age and months, like where it says set age and months to answer times 12. I made it there, but I couldn't grab it wherever you grabbed it from.
Okay, so let's go to variables,
Okay.
and then you'll see age and months.
So variables. Yep. Okay.
Okay, and then you bring that in.
Oh, you just grabbed it from there. Okay. Got it. I
Now,
got it now.
it's going to be a little different if we're doing script variables inside the block, and that's a different, that's kind of, I think, where you might have been looking for things. So, but this right now, we're just doing some basic variables.
Okay.
And if I say something that's we're going to do in the future, and I say we're going to do in the future, don't worry about it right now. Okay, and I can clean up these blocks, and you'll notice I have the age and days in here, but I don't want it anymore, so I'm just going to take it and throw it away. Okay, and then you click OK or apply. I'm going to click OK. How old am I? I'm 12. I've been alive. Oh, so I have a problem. I have a problem in my stuff. Let me go and run that again. In my answer, I got this 144 months all together. I need to go take a look at my code and fix my grammar a little bit. So I don't have a space between age and months and months. To get the space in there, I'm going to need to, there's two ways to do it. I could put a block that's just a space, or I could just come in here in front of months and make sure I put a space bar. Down arrow, 12. There we go. 144 months. Okay. Everybody good? So we've modified the age and days, and here's how to do it. So the slide deck, if you want to come back and look, the slide deck does have the answers to them eventually as you go through. And so you can come back and you can kind of walk through this again. All right. Does your code look like? Say kid's age, run your code, see what happens. We did that. Variables allow us to abstract some details away, so we don't need to write answer times 12 every time. And with answer, you want to be careful how often you use answer, because sometimes the answer always stays as the last thing that was answered, and sometimes that gets a little tricky. So that's why we want to kind of take our answer, and if we're not using it right away, we want to make sure that we save it as a variable other than answer. Answer is a variable, but we want to save it as a variable other than the answer. Now, I can create a variable of my own in orange that's an answer that says answer. I do not want to do that. Okay, I want to not do that. Answer does live under sensing. Here's answer. This is a block that Snap has created and saves that goes along with the ask, so it can take in that input. All right. Save your code. Save your code. Save. Okay. Ooh, now we're going to create some behavior for the stage. We're going to click on the stage icon, and you're going to see the comments describing the code that should be written. We're going to create code blocks based off the comments described. You may look at Katie, Chris, or Marnie Sprite for reference. Okay, that's our hint. Okay. We don't want to look at that yet. Let's go to the stage. And the stage is right here. And when we click on it, it's going to take us here. So this one says, when the green flag is clicked, switch the costume brick wall. And this is costume. Right here, we don't have costumes. We have backgrounds. So honestly, I would go in and I would change this to backgrounds because that would be less confusing for your students. But you can click backgrounds and you can look at the backgrounds you have. You have brick wall, bedroom, classroom, and pathway. Okay, so these are the backgrounds we have, and we want to kind of switch it up here. So let's go to our scripts. When the green flag is clicked, switch the costume to brick wall. Where would I go to get when the green flag is clicked?
Control.
Yep. Yep. Okay, we got control, and then I'm going to switch costume brick wall. Okay, sure. I will go back and show you where I got to the stage. So we were just programming the Marnie sprite. And so I clicked in the sprite corral here. I clicked there's Marnie is clicked and you can see Marnie selected. To get to the stage, you're going to come down here to the stage and you're going to click on the stage. Yep, cool. Now, when the flag is clicked, we're going to switch our costume. How do I do that? What tab would I look for? Or what else could I do? I could click on the find blocks and I could type in switch. Let's see if they have a switch. Ooh, they do have a switch.
No,
And that block, go ahead. Okay,
no.
and that, I'm sorry, go ahead. Are we good? I'm sorry. So we could do switch costume or yeah, and we could go into looks, right? So let me go into looks and there's our switch costume right here. Okay. And we want to do brick wall. And so how can we find our brick wall? We're going to come to the drop down arrow and see what we got. Brick wall. Okay, so let's go and just do these other ones. We'll do one more together and then you guys will do the other two while I do the other two on my screen without talking through it.
And these are being done under the Marnie character?
The stage. We're on the stage. So click the
Oh, on the stage. Okay, got it. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. And so someone guide me.
So
What do I gotta do?
you're gonna go to control.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go get when space key pressed.
Okay.
You're going to go back to looks.
Okay.
You're going to go to switch to costume.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to click the drop down and change it to bedroom.
Boom. Andrew just navigated me. Thank you. I don't read everything all the time, so it's good for me to have a navigator. Now y'all go do the other two, and I'm going to do the other two, and we're not going to talk through it. Thumbs up if we're good. Okay. Thumbs like this if we need a little bit more time. Okay. So how do we test it? How do we know it works? We can do two things. We can either follow this. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. I'm following. Just trying to help speed it up.
No, you're fine.
Not
I
speed
would
it up.
prefer.
Just trying to participate. That's all.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say one way you could do is just to hit the flag.
Okay.
You can tap on the flag.
Okay, we have the brick
Operation.
wall. And then
Hmm.
what else?
Well, each time I click on another one of those, the little humpy thing, it changes.
Okay, so the event block here. So now I'm going to click on, I can click the
Mhm.
space bar or I can click
Oh yeah,
block it here.
that's right. Yep, that's right. Forgot. Yep.
Yep. And then the down arrow. So it works. Okay, so I think that was the final thing. Let's check. So now we're going to run the script from the beginning by clicking on a green flag, and let's see if our stage changes and everything works the way we're supposed to work. Because we fixed the bugs, we did the Parsons code, and now we created the code for our stage. So let's go ahead and run it and see if it works. So what's my name? Mine went through some stuff too fast. That's the down arrow. I got some bugs in this thing. Where is my bugs? We fixed the buggy code. Guessing game. That's right. Talk about family. Edit. That's right. Take kids age. Edit. For some reason, it didn't go to this code very well. An up arrow. Let me do my up arrow. Okay. I got something wrong in here. It didn't answer, it didn't ask this, it did earlier. It answered it in out of order, but this code is right. So let's just go ahead and put a number in here. Okay. So for some reason, we got a little out of order, and I'm not sure where it went out of order, but we'd have to go through and kind of dig around. So mine was a little out of order. How is everybody else's code? Yours work? Okay, cool. So some of it worked and some of it didn't. So here's the
Yeah, I'm
cool.
the same way.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the cool thing about this is that we do have the slides and we can kind of go back through and see where the errors are and everything like that. But guess what? It's almost 12. So what are we going to do? We're going to come here and we want to go ahead and save. Go ahead and save our code. You can export it. But you probably already saved it as a share. All right. We have our pattern recognition. We have our concepts that we learned. We learned how to read, edit, and make code. We learned how to edit custom blocks. We learned how to make variables. These are all the things we did. And you have completed this coding conquest. All right. What do y'all think? Pretty good?
I thought it
Yeah,
was good,
mine's
just
still
went
a
a
mess.
little too fast. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nanette.
I said, yeah, my code's still a mess there. It like hops around through the whole thing, but I'll work on fixing it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Sometimes it takes a moment to really get used to it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I understood a little more. It just went a little too fast because I'm not a slow learner, but I have to see things in succession.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the concepts and the whys and the heretofores, but the application part. So I got it. I just got to remember where you go to do this and where you go to do that, stuff like that.
You want to know something really cool? Tony's recorded this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
So we can come back and we can send that recording to you to make sure that you have it if you want to go back and take a look at it. Also, the slides are very kind of step by step, and we can kind of go back and look through those things as well.
Marnie, did you want me to share the part 3, the link to part 3? I'll put this in the chat. The section that you'll have an opportunity to do at your own pace is now in the chat. But what I will be doing over the next couple of days, I will be uploading the video of part 1 and part 2, and also a link to part 3, and also a link to the solution for part 3 as well. So you'll get an email probably by about Tuesday. It takes a while for the for Zoom to actually be able to send us the recording back, and it takes me a little while then to edit it into chunks that you can use. But we will upload it to the ExCITE YouTube channel, and you'll be able then to go through part 1, part 2, and if you need any help, there'll be a part 3 helper section for that as well. But in the meantime, for those of you who want to begin to work on part 3, it is in the chat already. So if you just
Press enter, Tony. I don't have it.
Oh, I thought I did. Oh, hang on a second. I think I've sent it to yes. Nanette, you're fortunate. You have that. Nobody else does. I sent a message to Nanette letting her know that we'd fixed the issue she was having earlier. So Nanette has the link. The rest of you should now have that link. So can you see it now, Marnie?
I can.
Good, good. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us today, and you know, I hope you've had a sort of an opportunity to get at least immersed with Snap. The intention for today was to get your feet wet and to get you to the point where you could begin to experiment and begin to explore. One of the things that we often encourage students to do, if they're still really not sure, the introductory exercises in our curriculum, which obviously now you know where it is, the Unit 1 Alonzo activity is a really good starting point. So if you wanted to just explore a little on your own, it's very structured, and it goes through step by step by step. And the Alonzo activity also builds upon some of the work that we were doing in the first unit we did this morning. So if you wanted to carry on exploring, we'd certainly encourage you to do that as well. As I mentioned, over the next couple of days, once I'm able to get the recording, I'll be able to upload all of that, and I'll send an email out to the entire group. Quite a few people had said that they were unable to make today, but wanted to see the recording. So obviously having the recording available for those who couldn't make it, plus for you folks, so you can reflect on if you have any questions or concerns by looking through the video, you'll be able to see that too. But otherwise, I think we're all wrapped up for today. Any questions or any concerns or any comments before we leave?
I do, Mr. Gordon. So we come back here on the what is it, the 12th, I think?
Yes, July the 12th will be for the introduction to the hummingbird. And thank you for mentioning that. When we do come back together on the 12th, it's really, really important that you bring one of your hummingbird kits home, plus some batteries, and so that we can actually use the hummingbird kit with you that day. And the activity that day, there'll be a short refresher on Snap, because some of the people who weren't able to make today will be starting for the first time there. So you'll be able to skim through the first activity on that day. But the majority of the day really is to do with making sure that the hummingbird kit is working, that you're familiar with it, and that it's working on your laptop. If you have a school laptop and you want to carry out a test before that time, just bear with me a second. I just want to pull up the ExCITE website, and because there's some information on the ExCITE website that will help you. I think teachers, or maybe it's, hang on, is it it's resources. Okay, I'm just going to share screens momentarily with you. So I think it's that one there. There it is. Okay, this is the ExCITE website, excite.techlit.org. If you go under resources, you'll find the technology requirements. And there's the technology requirements, which you already have them in email, so there's no need to do that. But there's a testing connectivity link in here, and it goes through the stage by stage of testing whether or not your hummingbird will connect to your district computer. And if you wanted to do this independently before the 12th, probably not a bad idea. If you have your own personal computer, by all means, feel free to try that. Make sure that you're using an up-to-date browser. Make sure your Windows is up-to-date, because Bluetooth gets updated every once in a while. But as long as you know your the computer you're using has Bluetooth, you should be in good shape and it should work fine. But that way you're able to at least do some testing beforehand. I'll also put a mention to that. I'll send out a reminder the week before, and I'll mention also how to test that connectivity in advance as well. But in the meantime, as I said, thank you all for joining us. Any other questions, any other concerns before we wish you goodbye for today? Nope. Okay. Thank you again, Marnie, for leading today. As always, a really helpful session. And thank you all for joining us. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the 12th, and looking forward to seeing you face to face a little later in the month in Raleigh. So bye, everyone.
Bye. Reach out if you have any questions. Feel free.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.